Hey, welcome back to the Passive Buddies podcast. Today, as usual, we have and rudely interrupted by our co-host Brandon Duff. And today we are going to be covering how to avoid burnout. What do you do when the dream of an online business makes you work harder than a day job would? The answer? You build passive income. On the Passive Buddies podcast, we cover the myths behind passive income and how to build true financial and time freedom. Welcome to the Passive Buddies podcast. You okay?
Yeah. Did you hear me cough? Was I?
Yeah, we heard you.
Mic? You didn't?
No, we did. Yeah, we're good.
Oh man! Oh, it's on the wrong microphone. That's why.
Smooth. Guys, this just shows you no matter how many episodes you've done, you can still mess it up and it's okay.
See, is that mic better now?
Yeah, that's sexy. What have you done?
Well, I had the wrong mic on, so I clicked the mute button on my mic, thinking that I'm going to mute it, but I guess I grabbed from my webcam instead. So enough. Sorry for coughing and blowing out everyone's eardrums. We are on for another episode. Let's do this.
Do you need to compose yourself? Are you good?
No, I'm totally good. I thought that I had the right mic on, and we don't need to go any further with it.
Perfect. So burnout, this is a big thing in the industries, especially online. You've got a great way of calling it, obviously the rat race to the digital rat race,
right?
And it's a big thing, isn't it? I've burnt out online before. I've got to a position where I literally couldn't even make a decision on what was for dinner. My head was that mashed from online business. It's actually quite scary, isn't it? Because when you see a lot of the marketing strategies around promoting something or selling something, it really is a hamster wheel, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, it's like you said, we call it the digital rat race versus the rat race. You're just doing the same thing online as you are from a desk job. Like if you're in the marketing agency space or the just any kind of online social media marketing, you're working for a company, you're essentially doing the same thing as if you were online doing affiliate marketing or just trying to start an online business. Because I remember when I was a personal trainer and I had clients that I need to show up for in the gym, they were my bosses. And kind of getting online too, when you get to a point where you're a solo entrepreneur, all your customers are your bosses. So you end up making yourself a nice little desk job.
Yeah, and I know literally it's quite interesting, really. At the start of my journey, you mentioned the desk job, but I remember it's probably the same conversation a lot of people had with their missus. I was like, I'm going to start an online business. I was like, we're going to have so much freedom. I'll be able to eat for breakfast. And then I remember maybe 6-12 months in, she's like, so when are we going for breakfast? I was like, she's like, what happened to this freedom that you're going to have? I was like, I don't know. It's coming at some point, maybe. And it is it's so easy to get stuck tied to your laptop, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I mean, I have kind of now a rule where I work from the morning, and I don't know why I have this. There we go. So I usually work in the morning, get up super early because my wife goes to spin. And so that allows us to kind of be forced to get up early, or a podcast at 4:30 in the morning. And so in doing so, it forces me to get up because it allows me to just kind of be held accountable in a sense to someone at a specific time. Or since my wife's forced to get up, I have no reason to stay in the bed. So it gets me to get up. And then I get off work, instead of trying to work until 7, 8, 9, 10, late into the night, I get off when she gets home so that we can spend that time together. But you should be getting what I call forced burnouts, where there's one day in the week that you kind of just take a break in a sense, not really the weekend. So like for me, I'll work all the way pretty hard in the paint, waking up early Monday through Wednesday, and then Thursday I sleep in, and that allows me to kind of have my alone time. I can just do whatever I want. I can play video games if I want. I can catch up on shows if I want. So kind of like a mini vacation. And then I typically work on in the morning. So it kind of gives me one day in the week, besides Sunday, to kind of just chill out and sleep in a sense. So it's kind of like cheating on the weekends, kind of like that cheat meal in the fitness industry. So that's kind of how I help alleviate some of the burnout that all people go through, including myself. So that's why I do those little cheat days in a sense.
Yes, it's something I sort of do. Like, I think the biggest thing that sort of led to burnout was the lead generation and the content. Like, because that is something, no matter what business you sort of create, that's something you're gonna have to do. So I think how you handle that then decides on your level of burnout. Like, for instance, like posting on social media every single day, liking and commenting, going into groups, like pulling people from your group into your messaging and sending all those DMs and all that type of thing. We were having a conversation about it before, weren't we? And I personally hate it. I absolutely hate it. That side of the business. And if that's your only content strategy and only lead generation strategy, you're always going to be stuck, aren't you? Like, I know
Right.
it's a strong strategy in terms of, like, obviously it generates you like tons of leads, but that isn't the only thing you have. Like, if you've got your YouTube channel, we've got this podcast, like, which obviously generates leads and
Right.
generates customers, etc. Um, whereas when you first start, a lot of online business gurus, experts, or whatever they want to be called, will literally teach you how to hustle and burn out on Facebook. And I think that's one of the first things, like, and that's the only thing they do. Like, they're just constantly trying to create content, posting like 4 or 5 stories a day, going into groups, posting in groups, chatting to every man and his dog in a group, trying to have a pitch off in the DMs. Like, that's fucking draining.
It is.
That is draining. And if that is the only thing you have as a content and lead generation strategy, I think that is the fastest road to burnout.
I definitely agree because it is a grind. I mean, it's a thing like you're constantly talking to other people, which is uh, pretty energy consumption wise, pretty high on the ladder because you're constantly having to talk to people. You have to constantly use your mind to think of objections. So, and overcome people's questions and all sorts of things that are thrown at you. So, and bring up stories or resources to help them understand more. So it is a very hard thing to do, and it is the fastest way to burn out because it is a grind. So, and it's just kind of like a telemarketer on the phone. Like when you're doing, you're trying to call random numbers and you're getting no, 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 no. It definitely is a grind. So I do agree with you there. But it is also the thing that moves the needle the quickest too, because you can have people that essentially know you, have more of a warmer audience, and you can get a few yeses quite quicker than putting out content at relatively the same scale. But it's important to do content too, so people can know, like, and trust you. So it's a mixed bag. You really have to do both.
I think that's the key, isn't it? Like, when a lot of people say, focus on one primary or focus on one platform or master that platform, master that platform. Unfortunately, the platforms they will always go to master to start with is the likes of Facebook or Instagram, because of the lower barrier to entry. You can create your content, you can message people on that. Again, if that is it's a short term lead generation strategy, isn't it? And what I mean by short term is, like, you've always got to be on that hamster wheel, and you keep that moving, keep that moving. And you said yourself, like, it's the thing that pushes the needle first and fastest, but it's not the thing that you want to be doing the rest of your life. So
Right.
when you look at an actual content strategy to avoid burnout. You've got your short-term platform and you've got your long-term platform. And I think from there, it's like going on Facebook and doing the DMs and all that type of thing. Yeah, great. But make sure you are creating your evergreen content, your longer form content, because that's the thing that will release you from that hamster wheel. If you don't create that, like the podcast or the YouTube channel or the blog, if you don't create that over time and have that growing and compounding, you'll never get off your hamster wheel, which means you will burn out. You will get stressed because you cannot walk away from your laptop.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there. One second. So we have someone who, the first year or so, I was doing lots of content. And I recycle a lot of my content now, where I've literally gone back and taken a post that I've made in 2020 and posted it in 2022 without even bumping the post, just literally copy paste, which did really, really well. And it still does. I also have now a VA who's taking my long form content and doing what you're saying is going and producing and taking it and recycling it for short-term content, which is great. And as you said, the burnout when doing the DMs are definitely like, it's tough doing DMs, and it takes practice and it takes time to learn that. But now we're onboarding VAs so that we can start onboarding them and they do the DMing and they do all that. And so then what we're doing now is onboarding those two people, those two categories, and now working on the kind of the success coaching. So keeping people to turn down, essentially, because we can ramp all those up when the time comes and we're ready to have all three categories going. Because now we have three people that can take our content, recycle it, keeping us out of that area, where we can have them take old content and reuse it for new content. And then obviously as we do lives or whatever, or podcasting, they can recycle that content too. And then from there, we're on, like I said, onboarding. So gets us out of the rat race for DMing people and burnout, because we have an onboarding process to onboard new people that are in our sales team. And then me doing what needs to be done for churn, getting onboarding a success coach, teaching them what we want to do after that all the onboarding is done for the sales team. And so then we can just do levers, essentially, is just hire more people that is doing sales, so that we can keep our churn super, super low and just continuously grow it that way. So ultimately, that's kind of what you become, is more of taking yourself out of the business and then have these levers that can use money essentially to go faster. Because your sales team, you have to take you out of that first, so that you can obviously be the face and help your people continuously get results. And then you can have those two recurring numbers really, really high. So that's kind of our goal with avoiding burnout, is because you're essentially now just managing, and you have you have more time essentially to relax, because now you don't have to focus on the day-to-day things.
I think that's obviously quite important, obviously, to understand, is like, yeah, leverage is going to be key to this. So when you do go on, focus on your primary platform and you're doing that hustle, make sure as a priority you're actually creating your long form content that can then be recycled, repurposed, and then obviously which helps the shorter term platform. And then, as you say, as that money grows, as that you start to backfill, like the first place you want to get out is you want to get out of lead generation, because it's the most labor intensive. So if you can get out if you can get to a position where you can outsource your lead generation, and obviously you can still keep the amount of leads coming in, you're in such a better place, because then you can focus on the stuff, as you say, like focusing on reducing the churn rate,
right,
reducing the amount of content or DMs you have to put out or stuff like that, and then start to manage. That will get you out of burnout. But my first thing is, don't just do short-term marketing, otherwise you will burn out, you will quit. You have to be doing long-term as well. Now that sounds like more work up front, But if you focus on like for instance, creating your 3 YouTube videos or your 3 podcasts a week, focus on that, get them done, because it doesn't take that much time. And then go back and fill the rest of your time with the shorter term marketing. At least then that compounding effect will grow over time and it will release you from the hamster wheel.
100%.
Absolutely perfect. Right. In that case, we will leave it there, guys, with avoiding burnout, and we will see you on the next episode.
Peace.
Thank you for tuning into another episode of the Passive Buddies podcast. Have you begun your online journey yet? Or are you stuck on how to get it to work for you? Then why not take our exclusive free course, the 2-day Affiliate Commission Challenge, and start your journey to the rest of your life today. It's the first link in the podcast description and it's totally free. You have nothing to lose, yet everything to gain for you and your family. Enjoy our free gift to you, and the link is below.